Good evening. Um, Happy New Year and all of that. Hey, I did say that I would upload something this week. I do apologise that it's not my technical brilliance as it normally is, but work just got home a bit late. So, anyway, um, Crowder versus Daily Wire. I guess what I'll do is I'll do what everybody else has done over the past few days and give you my belated, opinion on what all of that means. I've been back and forward, and this is spoken as someone who doesn't know. Obviously, I don't know the full details. Yeah, I don't know how friendly they were. I don't know how much money or the terms and conditions. I know none of that. Okay. But I posted the other day that the issue with Crowder versus Daily Wire is that it is two conservative voices who are fighting each other, and it really has escalated into quite the public stoush. And of course, the lefty YouTubers, the lefty podcasts have jumped all over it. Of course they have, and why wouldn't they? No, look, the right are eating their own. And that's where it saddens me. And who cares what I think? I'm little old me with not very many subscribers or followers, but I don't think that's the point. The point is that we are supposed to be, we being conservative, right, whatever you want to call us, Christian, anything, whatever you want to call us, on whatever this side is, disillusioned liberals, former leftists, whatever you want this eclectic bunch to be called. When we work best together is when we agree. And that's my biggest issue. My biggest problem is that we are not currently agreeing. I follow several podcasts, several shows. I get it. It's hard to maintain listening to all of them, but somehow I do. I keep up with most. And the other day, it might have been a few weeks ago. Doesn't matter. At some point in the past, I was listening to Tim Pool do his Timcast IRL show. I think it was at the Young America Foundation, something like that. It was at a conservative conference in the US. And on stage was Tim, says he believes in God, but I don't think a personal God. So whatever you would call that. One of his offsiders, Ian, who I would say is agnostic. James Lindsay, who's done a lot of work in exposing corruption across the board, really, particularly in high-level academia, atheist, and Jack Bosovich, I hope I've pronounced that last name correctly, who's a staunch Catholic. Now, the four of them were sitting on a panel, or other panelists that came on and off, but the four of them were sitting on a panel, and what was wonderful was that despite any differences that they may have had, they were agreeing on 85%, 90% of what was being talked about. Issue of parents should be the ultimate authority on children. Of course, well, that's something that you don't have to be a Christian to believe that, okay? This idea of freedom of speech, something that we don't actually have here in Australia. It's not enshrined in any constitutional amendment at all. But the US does have that. So they can agree that freedom of speech is absolute. They agree on that. You don't have to be an atheist necessarily to agree with that. They can believe that vaccines, say, should not be mandated and people should have the right to make that choice. Particularly when it comes to COVID, which, now as it turns out, we all know, wasn't particularly dangerous. Should that freedom be afforded? They can all agree with that. You don't have to be agnostic, and see where I'm going with that, to agree. We can agree that the last few years, if it's taken the last few years, someone like me, I'm a bit slow to wake up to this, that big government is not your friend. Government is not your friend. Law enforcement is not necessarily your friend if they are just going to blindly apply unjust laws. And that, guilty is charged. But why can't, if 5 people with a differing opinion on faith or God or religion or secularization or anything like that, if we agree that law enforcement is not necessarily your friend, government is not your friend, and here in Australia, constitutional violations from the states should have been met with the full force of the federal government, saying, no, you cannot do that, it is unconstitutional. If we agree, then let's agree. If we agree that we should have freedom of religion, then let's agree. That's part of my issue. I'm not going to name them because, I'm little old me, and he's done a very good job building a social media platform. But one of the issues I have with one of the owners and creators of a platform that I use, he's a Christian, a devout Christian, but wishes to focus, in my mind, wishes to focus on 10 to 15% of things we would disagree on in the name of Christianity. And I go, okay, but at this point the fight's bigger than just Christianity. That's may well be a part of it, but let's figure out the 85% of things that we agree on first. Let's be public with that and disagree on the 15% behind closed doors. See, ultimately for me, Crowder versus Daily Wire is a contractual issue. It's a business issue. If you don't like the contract, don't sign it. If you don't like the terms and conditions, don't sign the contract. Move on. If you don't like their business model, do it a different way. Don't play it out in public. I mean, what are Daily Wire trying to be? They're trying to be Disney, not leftist, maniacal whatevers that Disney have turned out to be. What they're trying to do is create fiction content, as well as podcasts and news and all of that, but they're making movies, they're making documentaries. That's what they're trying to be. Let them be that. Go be something else. We're allowed to all have our own space and our own thing. See, when we're focused on that and figuring out who's right, who's wrong, who's got the best business mind, who doesn't, whose contract terms are best, look what's happening. Overseas, or at least overseas for me, the city of Atlanta is burning because Antifa are a bunch of brainwashed terrorists. Brainwashed left-wing terrorists. They're burning a city to the ground. And we collectively, on the right, or in the conservative movement, are sitting down with our popcorn and large soft drink watching Crowder go at Daily Wire. You know, again in the US, the southern border is open, but we're focused on a dispute between two media companies that are supposed to be on the same side. Here in Australia, here in Queensland, our state government is about to implement a law because we have no Senate, we have no way of vetoing such ridiculous laws, that if you're over the age of 16, you can just change your gender on your birth certificate to whatever you feel like. No doctor needed, no parental permission needed, you can just go do it. Victoria are trying to remove parents as the ultimate authority. And New South Wales is just a political basket case at the moment. They don't know what they want to be. And we're focused on two media companies over a business dispute. My humble opinion, mine alone, we need to agree on what we agree on in public. We need to disagree on what we disagree on behind closed doors, because it's actually bigger than a business deal. It's bigger than a contract dispute. It's bigger than a friendship. Okay, literally, the state of our society and culture is at stake. Let's just remember who our enemies are. Until next week, God bless.